welcome. Let's say again, it goes round fast, doesn't it? But we are delighted to be here again for Business Blondes, and we have the fabulous Lynne Page joining us, who I will introduce properly very shortly. But in the interim, as always, we just wanted to discuss kind of how things are going for people and what's showed up in your world this week. So I'm going to start with you, Sam, please. How's your week?
Oh, my week has been very lovely, thank you. Although I just have to share, I just feel very sad today. I learned some really sad news this morning. It was really, really bizarre because I was just about to deliver a well-being and mental health course. It's like a 6-week program, and I was just getting ready for it, and I was preparing for it, and I had a message from an old colleague to let me know that sadly we'd lost another one of our mutual old colleagues who had taken their own life. And it's just absolutely thrown me, because she was the life and soul of the party, this lady. She was, you heard Terry before you saw her. She was one of those ladies that you were just drawn to. You just wanted to be around all the time. And so it was so profound, because literally it was minutes before I was delivering this workshop. So, it gave me some great sort of emotional material to discuss. But so that's my share. I'm having a great week, but it's rocked me completely today.
Oh my love, I can only imagine. It's so heartbreaking, isn't it? It's so heartbreaking when we lose anybody, but I think when we lose somebody who's taken their own life, the fact that you know how sad they must have been themselves adds a layer of grief, doesn't it?
Yeah. So thank you, ladies. Thanks for letting me share that with you guys.
Sending you a massive big hug, my love.
Thank you.
Caroline, my love, how about you?
I'm sorry to hear that, Sam. I used to be a Samaritan on the phones, and you don't know what goes on in people's lives. And the thing, when people are left behind, you always think, could I have done something? Could I have spotted something? And quite often you never know. Which is why I became a life coach, because I want to help people live brilliantly. So I've had a really good week. Graduation day tomorrow, and for my students, and I shall be wearing. Trust me, I'm a life coach, which I have commissioned by one of my clients.
I love it.
Big day on Saturday. Not tomorrow, Saturday. There'll be a glass of champagne on Zoom, me wearing my t-shirt, and lots of coaches going out into the world to change the world. So happy days.
Oh, that's amazing. You should be so proud. It was your biggest academy this time, wasn't it? Was it 25?
5 students, all get their wings, helping the world.
But what I love about that is, if we think back a year ago when you first had to take your first one online and you were like, can't do this, it's not going to work. And now here you are a year later and you're delivering the biggest that you've ever had. I think it just shows the power of positive mindset and having a will-do attitude.
It's online is the way forward for me now. It's enabled more people to join, Africa and LA, all sorts of people coming in. And I'm very, very grateful for that and having that kind of flexible business. So, it's a big day Saturday, and I'm very proud of them all. Thank you. Thank you.
Penny, my love, how about you?
Yeah, Sam, it does get you in the guts when you hear things like that. It's makes you swallow hard, doesn't it? Because we all know, tough times as well. And as Kim says, relating to the person and why they were that down, why that life was that tough, is really hard. Congratulations, Caroline. I'm very excited about what you've achieved. Actually, what I wrote down I wanted to talk about, which is really pertinent, which is love in business. It came up today in our community. So we've created this community called Bit 100, and it's called Diversity of Skills, Commonality of Kindness is sort of our strapline to it. And it's skilled experts. And when we've been recruiting, we've got 47 now out of 100. We've been really looking for people that feel comfortable to use the word love in the business environment. And I just think that, it's so important to us all to feel love. The four of us when we're together, and now Lynne in our group today, you know, there's always an energy of love, and there are so many people that don't know how to access love. And I heard this. I'm a real fan of Grey's Anatomy. Has anybody watched Grey's Anatomy? Oh my God, I'm on series 9, and I do it on my iPad, and I do my makeup with it, and I follow it downstairs, and I watch it while I'm making my first coffee, and then I watch it at lunchtime while I'm making my lunch. It follows me around like that. There was a quote in it which I absolutely loved, and it was Meredith Grey said this: because when you deeply know who you are, it's easier to know what you're about and ultimately know what you need. And I really like that. And I think, you know, just to follow on from what you said, Sam, is this need that we all have to feel loved. And sometimes we just don't know where to get that feeling, do we?
No, that's so true. And you're right. I think sometimes I don't know if this is just the way that we were brought up, where it's like business was about business and emotions were about emotions, and never the two should meet. And yet we are all human beings. We are just doing things in business, still being human. So who we are and our emotions are still so critical. And, you know, one of the things that I've done this week that I'm quite proud of is I've just become an accredited practitioner in reading emotions on people's faces. So reading the 16 emotions that we show globally, whether or not, even if we were born blind, we would show these emotions the same way. And it's a real way of being able to detect how somebody's really feeling, even if they are trying really hard to suppress it. And these micro expressions can last less than 1/25th of a second. So they're fleeting, but the amount of information they can give us is priceless. And, you know, hopefully being able to help people and share that would help people able to communicate better and understand how someone's really feeling, even if they're telling us one thing. But we sometimes have that gut feel, don't we, where we know. And for me, what's important about it is putting the emotion back into business, because we can't do one without the other.
No, we can't.
Loved and supported, we can't be our best. And I think, you know, we need to create that safe space to be able to talk about this for people, don't we?
It's really interesting what you say as well, Kim Adele, because I was on a platform about 20 years ago with a guy called Alan Pease, and he was a body language expert. And he shared some of that, not probably as scientifically as you now know it, 20 years on, but he said that's why Botox and going under the knife on your face is so damaging for your ability to relate to people.
Oh, it's so true, because even though you might go, well, it's all right for you, Kim, you know them, the rest of us don't. Subconsciously, we know them. So whenever you get that feeling where you go, something's just a little bit off about that picture, about that person, or about, I don't trust what they're saying, it'll be because your subconscious will have spotted one of these. And when we use Botox, we stop our ability to be able to do them. So, you know, there was a recent video of somebody who'd had a lot of Botox who was genuinely distraught, but because she was unable to make any of the muscle movements, you didn't believe her. And yet she was clearly absolutely distraught, but the disconnect was there was none of these movements that made it feel genuine. And I think that it's such a shame, isn't it, that we, in our drive to be perfect, we're actually losing ourselves.
I think
Tom Cruise was interviewed on Graham Norton this week. I don't know if you saw it. It's like he was a different man. He's had it all done. So shame. Sorry, Sam.
No, I was just about to say, my clients often say, Sam, your eyebrows are giving it away, because I talk with my eyebrows all the time and I can't control them, and I try, but I just know, like, if they've said something and they know that, you know, it's them procrastinating, apparently my eyebrows just give the sign of disapproval all the time.
I love it. Never ever change. Anyway, it is my absolute utter pleasure to introduce you to my fabulous friend who I met. We were just chatting about this. I met almost exactly a year ago at a networking group, which was the first one that you'd been to, the first one I'd hosted. So I think we were both in that nervous spot, but have just become firm friends. And what I absolutely adore about this lady is she gave up her job 30 years in a bank, so we'd got banking in common, to follow her passion for travel, which was February last year. So I'll just let that sink in. February last year, she started up a business in travel. And rather than actually turn around and go, oh, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? Not such a great time. What I love is your passion for just finding the positive. And in the last year, you've become the columnist for our local newspaper, talking about travel. You've really raised the profile, and you've absolutely not let the situation pull you back, but use it to find the way of actually still going strong and still believing in your business, which I really admire you for. So lovely, Lynne. Tell us about your journey, please.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me, ladies. It's a real honour. I love to watch you all every week. Yeah, my journey, I worked in a bank straight from school. I just thought, well, I'll work in a bank until I know what I want to do as a career, not really realising it would take me over 30 years to realise that I wanted to be in travel and not finance. I did loads of different jobs in the bank, worked in lots of different branches, and eventually it was having a detrimental effect on my mental health. And I ended up taking quite a lot of time off work. It was a really, really tough time. It got to the stage after a lot of therapy and a lot of medication. It got to the point where I'd said to my husband, I just can't go back there. It was a toxic environment. It was just draining me. And I just didn't want to be that person anymore. And actually, it was my brother that had said to me, you love traveling and you're always giving people help and advice, telling them where to go, what to do, you know, telling them what trips to go on and things like that. He said, why don't you look at a home working franchise, and then it would help with your anxiety because you can work from home, and it's something that you love. So I discussed it with my husband. I did a lot of research, not realising that Travel PA, who I was booking my holidays with myself anyway for many years, did a home working franchise. So I contacted my travel agent, Travel PA, and she gave me the general manager's name, and I gave her a call and we had a good old long chat, and she was very patient with me because my anxiety was still quite high at that time. So obviously I had loads of questions. Me and my catastrophic thinking were, oh, what if this goes wrong? What if it doesn't work? Not once did I think, what if there's a global pandemic? So, yeah, we decided to use our savings, bought into the franchise. So I started with the bank on the 1st of March, 1988, and I left on the 10th of October, 2019. Started my training to retrain as a travel agent on the 22nd of October, 2019. Launched my business on the 2nd of January, 2020, and then along came COVID-19. But I thought that I was actually one of the lucky ones in the travel industry because I didn't have loads of bookings that I had to then reschedule, cancel, try and get refunds back for. There was a few, but I got those sorted. And I actually took it as an opportunity to learn as much as I could about this industry that I was so new to. So I did training and webinars every day. I was learning about countries I'd not been to, all different cultures and food, all sorts. Oh, thank you, Tim. And I just really enjoyed it and I wanted to get my brand out there. So I joined Love Biz Networking and met Adele, and I'm so thankful that I did. It was just fantastic. And I did loads of networking that I hadn't done before. Set up my Facebook page, managed to get my brand out there. And then one night when I couldn't sleep, I just thought, oh, I never see anything about travel in our local newspaper, so I'll just email the editor and see if anybody does a travel blog. And she came straight back to me the next morning and said, actually, no, we don't. Would you like to do an article? And I'll have a look at it. And she published it that week and then offered me a 4-weekly regular column. So I've been writing the travel column every month since July last year. And that has reignited my love of writing as well.
That's fantastic. My goodness, do you know what, Lynne? There are business owners that have been going for years that haven't been able to be that creative and that tenacious. It's so inspiring to hear what you've just said. Can I dig into it a bit more? Because I'm really curious.
Yes, of course.
Travel always stresses me. Thomas and I, whenever we arrive somewhere, have this, I don't know whether you know this feeling, girls, this sickly feeling that you just don't know what it's going to be like when you get there, and you can't almost enjoy that moment of going around the corner. What do you do? What's different about what Travel PA does then?
So what I do
help
is,
people?
You just tell me your idea of where you want to go. If you've seen somewhere in particular, I can find it for you, and I will put a deal together for you. And it means that I will look after you before you go and get everything sorted for you. If there's anything special you want doing, I can get that organised. I'll be there as a support while you're away. So I'm always on the other end of the phone. If you want to ring me, WhatsApp me, email me. I've had people ring me at 10:30 on a Sunday night saying I can't print my boarding cards off, and I'm saying, well, you don't need to, you just need a nap, it's fine. And I'll also be there afterwards, so you haven't got to sit looking at the internet for hours on end thinking, I'm sure I saw a deal somewhere and I've looked at so many places I can't remember which one it is, because I'll do it for you, and my services are free of charge as well.
Gosh, that sounds such heaven. So do you have, as a franchisee, do you have your own unique website? So I've just gone on the Travel PA website. Do you have one?
I have a micro site, but I'm just in the middle of having my main website built. It should be live by next week.
What will the URL be?
It will be www.lynnepagetravel-pa.co.uk.
I'm writing it down.
So Lynne, I was just going to say, what are your kind of obstacles right now looking at the year ahead? Is it not knowing where we can go, how we can go?
It's since the Global Travel Task Force did their last announcement around the 12th of April, and they said, we'll review it again for the 12th of May. There was a lot of talk about a vaccine passport, which is actually, it's been very controversial. That's what my last column was about in the newspaper, and it did. There was quite a lot of comments about it. People are still a bit wary as to whether they can go abroad, and Grant Shapps has said we need a PCR test whether we're vaccinated or not before we leave the country and before we come back. However, the UK seem to charge so much more for PCR tests than anywhere else in the world. So he is in negotiation to reduce the prices. He has got one company that's got it down to £60, but it still adds a lot on to a family holiday. So if you've got a family of 4, he's also looking at whether we can take our own lateral flow tests with us, the free ones that you get from the NHS. He's looking to see whether we can take those with us while we're abroad, do the lateral flow test, and that'll be okay for us when we come back from a green country. But I think things are... Sorry,
lovely. What's the appetite for travel, do you think? Is there an appetite this year? Are most people thinking, actually, I'm going to leave it this year and have a staycation, and maybe like Penny has, invest in a mobile home to enjoy? Or, are people really, really vying for that 2 weeks of sun, sea, sand and sangria?
So many different enquiries that I've had quite a lot of staycations. Things are getting booked up for the school holidays, as you can imagine, and the prices have gone sky high for a lot of the staycations. I've got people that are booking towards the end of the year, November, December time, and I have started taking bookings for 2022 and some inquiries for 2023, believe it or not.
Wow.
People are desperate to travel. They just want a bit more certainty from the government.
It's really,
but I will always check that out.
Yeah, it's interesting. So as Sam said, we bought a motorhome, and we bought it last year, and we've always fancied having one, and last year seemed a good year to buy one if there was ever one. And I'm finding it really hard to actually find right locations. Is the English Tourist Board doing anything to help around tourism in Britain?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
No, and there's so few companies that are dealing. There seems to be the same companies that are dealing with UK staycations, and it depends whether you want, like, you would want a campsite, or whether you would want a hotel or a cottage or a lodge or a holiday caravan park. And there are a lot of unusual places to stay. We can do glamping pods. I did quotes last week for somebody who wanted somewhere unusual, and I quoted for an old prison, and also an old railway carriage, and you can actually stay in the railway carriage. So yeah, there's a lot of different things out there.
Yeah, this weekend we're going down to Cornwall to see my son, and he's living down there at the moment. We're staying in a converted bus on a campsite.
Fabulous.
I love it. That's amazing. Lynn, so Tim's asked, have you noticed the prices hike as a result of the staycations?
Yes, I have, definitely. But I think the prices have hiked not just for staycations, but for holidays abroad. I think the days of getting that bargain last minute holiday have gone. Because the companies need to claw back their money, don't they, that they've lost over the last 12 months. So yeah, I think the prices have hiked everywhere.
Do you think, Lynn, I mean, I had quite a big holiday organised for October last year. It was actually my husband's 50th birthday celebration. And obviously it was cancelled, like most of people's holidays last year. I'm thinking of rebooking it for 2022, sort of October time. Do you think the prices are going to be, majorly hiked still by 2022? Because I'm a little bit fearful of, the budget that I had for that holiday last year. How much more am I going to have to add to that pot to cover it, for 2022? Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, having looked at holidays for next year, and I have actually booked a couple for 2022, one as far as September next year. The prices aren't that massively different. The only thing we have to be aware of is airlines don't release their flights until 11 months before departure. So that's what we can only give a guide as to how much the flight will be at that time, and we can't give you a specific price until they are actually released by the airline.
I wondered also from a business point of view, if you were going to encourage somebody else maybe to start a travel business. So how does the model work? Because what you said there was that your services are free of charge. So how do you make your money, Lynn? Who pays you?
So I work on a commission only basis. So I only earn any money when people travel. So you can imagine over the last year, it's been really, really tough. So for example, something as simple as if you saw online a Jet2 package holiday, and you saw the price, I could book that holiday for you at exactly the same price. It just means that Jet2 would pay me the commission rather than they keep it. But then you would also have me to help you and support you through all of it, and my services. So yeah, that's how I make my money. And as I haven't, I've had to take a couple of extra jobs over the last year. So I even did call handling for the NHS Test and Trace over Christmas, and now I'm doing an admin job for a friend. So just until travel picks up.
But it's amazing how the travel industry has changed, because you used to go to the high street, bring a load of magazines this thick home with you, and go through and put across, take them all back, sit for hours. Oh no, computer says no, and then you get your seventh choice arriving at 3 a.m, and it's like, now it's all bespoke. It's wonderful. If you want flowers in your room, a bottle of something by the bed, you can do all of this wonderful stuff now. And I suppose that's the joy of your business, is the bespoke and customized packages.
It is. Yeah, you can really personalize it to each individual. My strap line is, I don't just book holidays, I design them.
Ooh,
so I can make them personal to you. Also, I'll refer to the legend that is Eamon Holmes, who on This Morning said travel agents used to be a thing of the past and now they're a thing of the future.
Ooh, very good. Love it.
I love it. And
with UK, oh, sorry, Kim.
Go for it, Penny.
So with UK stuff, is it the same? Can you still like arrange a holiday and still get a commission from that?
Yeah.
What, from the hotels?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we use tour operators and suppliers. So we would go to them. So, for example, if you saw a hotel on Expedia, I can book it for you through Expedia, and Expedia would pay me. The same as if you saw a cottage on Host Seasons, I would get it at exactly the same price, but Host Seasons would pay me rather than them keep the money. So, yeah, that's how I work.
There's just some beautiful, unique places in Britain
there
that
is.
we really, so good to explore. And I actually, I actually do like the idea of people holidaying in Britain quite a lot because it keeps the money in the economy.
Yeah, we
Although
need
I know
it.
I know we need to support the airlines and all of these other people that are around the whole ecosystem of travel, but there is something special. But I like the idea of you helping to organise it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And as Tim says, you know, you've shown such resilience and strength and helped him massively booking and sorting out cancellations when COVID hit. And I know from our conversations at the time, that's really, I guess, where it came into its own, wasn't it? Whereas a lot of people that had gone and booked their own package holiday or their own holiday in the UK and were now left hanging on the end of a phone, trying desperately to work out what can I do with that and how can I move it. Anybody who booked with you got to just give you that challenge.
I love a challenge anyway.
I think that's a really good point that you made, though, about the way that you earn the money. And Caroline, I had to chuckle when you were saying that, because I remember my mum, bless her, you know, going to get the pile of brochures, coming home and being on the phone for hours and hours to holiday operators, trying to get the free child places. And I could see the stress and the steam coming out of my, literally, she probably spent, a good 8 hours every summer on the phone trying to get these, free child places,
or on teletext.
Yeah, she didn't really do teletext. It was all on the phone. My mum likes to talk. Hi, Mum, if you're watching. But I was just thinking, Lynn, I would have assumed that you would have charged a fee for your services. So I think just like maybe an IFA would do. So maybe that's a great education piece for us, your audience, your customers, just to let them know how it works. Because, I wrongly would have assumed that you would have charged me a fee for organising my holiday.
No.
Well,
what you see is what you get.
Fabulous. I'm there. I'll be in touch.
Brilliant.
I can't believe that we're nearly out of time, Lovelies.
Oh, wow.
It always flies, and it's always such a delight to chat to you, Lynn. But before we go, if you could share one top tip with people right now, whether it's for business or for travel, what would it be?
Don't give up. That's what I say. If that's what I've learned over the last year, is don't give up and always be kind.
I love that. And you demonstrate both of those in abundance, my lovely. You are always kind, and I've never yet seen you give up, nor do I think I ever will. Penny, my lovely, how about you? Have you got a top tip for our viewers?
Yeah, I'm going to be starting to arrange net walks, because we used to do these with the Academy, and they were really, really popular. We had about 200 people gathered once for a net walk across the South Downs. So I'd say, now it's getting a little bit warmer and sunnier. Why don't you arrange a little network walk with some people?
Oh, I love that. Exercise and socialization. That's amazing.
Really, really nice. People love it. Take a picnic. Yeah.
That sounds cool. I'll have to give that a try. And I'm going to go to the lovely Caroline, please.
I have a thing here in my office called the spreadsheets of love. And I put all my friends and all the people, spreadsheets like Barry White, I put all my friends and people that I like on it. Before I came on the call, I reached out to someone I haven't heard from for a while. And I do this because of things like Sam's bit of horrible news. You never know who you haven't heard from for a while, if they're suffering, why they're silent. So on my spreadsheets of love, 2 minutes before we come, I've just messaged someone. So I would say my tip is reach out. Like the 4 tops said, reach out.
And I love it, and so true. We never know what somebody else is going through, and sometimes you just get that moment, don't you? I was walking to nursery yesterday and somebody I don't know at all walked up behind and said, can I just say you look lovely? And I was like, that's totally made my day. They didn't realize I was having a really bad week. So you just never know, do you, when someone's going to do something that touches your heart. So reach out is amazing. Lovely Sam, can I come to you now, please?
Yes, well, Caroline has just stolen my words, because I actually shared on LinkedIn this morning, you know, that message, and I just said, I ended it with, just check in with somebody today and make a difference to their lives, because like you just said, you just never know, you might hit at the right time. So yeah.
Amazing. So true. So what's going to be my tip? Well, I think I'm going to follow on from pretty much all of them, which is be kind and share the love. I think sometimes we don't put it out there to let people know that we care or that we love them, or there's something about them that we admire, whatever that is. But actually, let's make this week the week that we go and do that we go and be the rain in somebody's rainbow, to quote Maya Angelou. Lynne, it's been an absolute delight, my love. I am looking forward to our coffee and catch up. Everybody else, it's always a joy to chat to you. If you would like to be in Lynne's chair, then please do get in touch with us at www.businessblondes.tv. And in the interim, stay safe, take care, and be kind. See you next week.